Yeah, so there was a security guard about wee hours of the morning who was patrolling an area in which there was a homeless person sleeping on the side of the pavement next to a building that was part of this security person's detail. He saw him. From the video, it looks like he went up and said some words, went back to the car, got his gun, fired a shot in the air. The homeless person stood up and started walking towards him, and he shot him 15 times in the chest. Did not call it in. It happened about 1 a.m, and the body was found by other people just walking by at about 8:30 in the morning.
Didn't call it in to authorities. Didn't call it in to work.
Nope.
Just gunned a guy down and just left.
Yeah, and this isn't like I said off the air. This isn't allegedly. He's admitted to shooting the person. He says that the homeless person was walking towards him aggressively. Let's assume that that's true. Right. You fired a shot. You are not law enforcement. Mm-hmm. Security guard is not law enforcement. So you fired a shot. This person is laying down on the ground, doesn't know where you fired the shot. For all he knows, you fired it right at him and missed him. But the police, by all the reports that I can see, were not buying in any way that the way that this person, they've seen the video, this person was walking towards the security guard. They didn't buy that it was aggressive or unwarranted. And so he's behind bars awaiting trial.
Do security guards get any sort of status anywhere between law enforcement and the average private citizen who has a gun?
Great question. They can, yes. Depending on where they're patrolling, the casino security guards have this quasi-governmental sort of role. They do have detaining privileges. They do have cooperation agreements with Las Vegas Metro where they can communicate with them directly, and they do have statutory guidelines. So they are statutorily recognized peace officers, okay? That's not the right term, sorry. They are statutorily recognized security officers. A peace officer would be somebody working for the government. So that could be corrections officer, probation. That could be a cop, anything along those lines. But like, let's say I live in Southern Highlands. There's Southern Highlands Patrol. He's riding around in a car that's got like a badge on the side and lights up on the top, and he's like, "Hey, get out of here!" And I'm like, "See ya." Like you have no power over anything. Observe and report, buddy. Call into the cops. That's all he could do. And yes, he has a gun. He can use the gun in any way that I would be able to use the gun. He doesn't have any additional rights to use the gun beyond what I would have the rights to use the gun, say in self-defense or what have you.
Boy, I wonder how many people in our audience right now have encountered security guards like this, like you're talking about, and have seen them go over the line, abuse their power.
So when I was, walking and knocking on doors when I was running for office, one of the things that's kind of this legal gray area in most people's minds is that if you're knocking on doors and you're canvassing, you cannot go into a gated neighborhood unless you're granted permission or invited by one of the people that lives inside the gate. But there is specifically an exception in the code that says if you're the candidate yourself, cool, it's not canvassing. Right? But you can't. I can't hire somebody to go in there for me. I can't have anybody go in there on my behalf. But if I myself am the one who's walked in, I am not trespassing. Okay, unless they have a sign on their own driveway that says no trespassing. So I can think of 3 different instances, and that's why I pick on Southern Highlands Security, because each of the time it was Southern Highlands Security where they said, "Hey, you can't be in here," and I would have the ordinance ready, and I'd say, "Yes, I can. Here's the exception." And like, I don't know anything about that code. Well, and I'd say, "Well, that's your job to know about that code. Here's what it is, and I'm allowed to be in here." Well, we're going to call the cops. Go ahead and call the cops. You could do this, or we can go through. We can be cordial, go through the HOA, and get it done the proper way. But the bottom line is, ultimately, in each of those situations, I capitulated because I'm at the residence of somebody's house whose vote I'm asking for, and now we got like cop cars coming in, and it's not the best look to like get votes. So I'm like, fine, but dude, you gotta know the ordinances. So I eventually went through the HOA themselves, made them educated on the issue, and then requested instructions to their security guards that this is allowed. Confirm that I'm the candidate, and then it's allowed. So we ultimately got there in a long roundabout way by the end of the election. But they will make the implication that they have way more power and way more rights than they actually do.